All right, here we go. Facebook guys, namaste. God bless. How are all of you? Happy Monday. I'm not even friggin' ready yet. Do you guys, it's National Macaroni Day. I mean, macaroni goes in like a can. Isn't it like pasta? Or is there a National Pasta Day? But anyway, for you macaroni speaking lovers, it's your day to enjoy some good macaroni, if you want to call it that. But to me, it's always been pasta. Actually, I'm going to have that after I get off the air with this show. But I had to go to an appointment. Happy Monday to you. I think I forgot here. I had to go to an appointment recently. And I drove by, because this is like 4 in the afternoon. And 91 South is 4 in the afternoon. And you talk a shit show, I said, you know what, I'll take the back roads home. I'm good. And I drove past a very dear friend I haven't seen for about 15 years. For those of you guys been following me, perhaps recall several episodes where I mentioned how the final straw of my demise was when I was in the lobby of my old motel living there. The only place I can get Wi-Fi was going into the lobby, an open air lobby, literally freezing in the wintertime. And one of the residents who knew me came up to me and said, "Jared, they're towing your car away." And I looked up and I see the flashing lights and the tow truck, and I'm like, this is the end. This is the end of Jerry's era. That was the final straw. So what did I do? I start posting it on Facebook. Diabolical credit and blah, blah, blah. Blaming the world for all my shit. Anyway, my friend Darren, the house I had passed by, had contacted me. He goes, "Jer, I saw what happened on Facebook. Would you like a car to use until you get yourself back on your feet again?" This guy gave me a car for a year. Literally, an old Chevy Chevelle. I mean, the thing broke down constantly. But what Darren did was open the door. And, I was at the fork of the road in my life. And I knew that, without a car, you couldn't even get, you couldn't get a job. I had already applied to hundreds of them. And not having adequate transportation, they didn't want to hear it. I understood that. But what Darren did for me, and much love, as I drove by his house, I literally had a tear in my eye because the house looked kind of dilapidated. And at the time, Darren was on leave. He was a corrections officer, hurt his back. Hopefully he's okay. I didn't see anybody home. I would have stopped by. But that man literally started me on the journey to where I am now. I'll never forget him for that. And hopefully you guys will come into something like that in your life where there's somebody that stands out and they really get you. You're at the fork of the road, you can go up or down, and they said, look, here's a little bit of hope in your life. And it'll really change things for you, because it did for me in so many ways. And I used everything about that car. I had it for a year, literally driving it. And this thing was probably the dumpiest dump you could ever have in a car. But indeed, it was the beginning of who I am today. And then I thought of this quote by Oprah. As I got past my emotional thank yous with that, I said to myself, what brought me to that point? And these are relevant questions you guys got to ask for yourself. You can be inspired and motivated all day. That's what I was back then, 15 years ago, inspired, motivated all day long, listen to Tony Robbins, get that kind of happy shit. But then it goes away because you start thinking about the reality that's around you. I didn't realize the reality around me back then was being molded by me. And the words that Oprah said were relevant. Excuse me. Where you place your attention is where you place your life. Not with the snot that I still have from this week-long infection in my nose, but so don't mind the hacking. But listen to what she said. Where you place your attention is where you place your life. To me, that was the beginning to realize that I put myself. And when you guys can take full responsibility for your life, that's when your life is going to change. It's really simple. But inspiration and motivation does not tell you that. It tells you to push harder. Okay, so you're pushing harder at something that you don't believe in. Transformation, and the reason why I love coming on for America's Mentor here is to inform you guys that there is a different way, indeed. And this different way has completely and utterly changed me physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, in every aspect of my being by me being something different. Not necessarily the person or my character, but what I'm feeling on the inside. And that whole, what had happened to me back then was the greatest lesson. I mean, imagine a guy in his early 40s, I mean, going through this shit. Normally, mind you, this is what the herd thinks. Normally in your 40s, you got 15 more years to retire there, meatball. You got to focus. To me, I'm just thinking about where to get my next meal back then. But I put myself in every situation back then. And this is what you guys have to realize for yourself. You put yourself where your life is by your thought about it, by your belief about it, and most importantly, what Oprah said, where you put your attention on. Because you develop a character from that. You start living this life every day and therefore molding around it, and life is only responding to it. Here's a perfect example. Every show that I do for America's Mentor, including tonight, I don't even look for it. They all come to me. Every idea, every inspiration to promote to you guys, I don't have to look for it. I open my phone when I go through my business and something pops up and spurs, because I put myself there. And life is molding itself around my thoughts to create content. Does that make sense? Your life is exactly the same way. What you focus on, you bring upon in your life. And back then, all I was focusing on was my next meal, or getting $1.50 for a gallon of gas, and that was pretty cheap back then there, meatball. But that's what I was focusing on, just getting by. And life was only giving me just getting by. And when you understand that, that's the catalyst. That's one of the words I'm going to promote tonight, because we are the flicker, the spark that starts the fire in our life. And I know you guys have heard this before. Indeed. Alan Watts gave this beautiful lecture on that. I featured him the other night. And again, as I was getting ready for show prep tonight, this lecture popped up as well. And it's something you guys have to realize. You have to, if you can grasp where you're at now, if you're not happy where you're at now, know that you created it. And also know that you can change it. You have to change your belief system about yourself. You have to understand the potential power that we all have. We have this immense power. Few people realize that, because a lot of us have been trained, I would say the majority of us have been trained to live in this matrix of conformed life. It's not supposed to be that way. I can attest to the fact of only doing what I love to do is creating more of that in my life. You can have the same result in your life, but it requires you to let go of that old self. That's the hardest part. We've been so conditioned in that self because it's so deeply ingrained in our subconscious mind to live by our memories instead of what we can make for ourselves. And I'll get right to the point with Alan Watts, because this is powerful shit. I mean, it will give you guys hopefully that flicker of thought, or that you hit the fork of the road of your life, man. You don't know where to go, left or right. I'm here to tell you is follow your heart, man. Follow what feels right. Because what feels right is going to always turn out right. He said, you know why people don't manifest what they want? Because they're waiting as if the universe owes them something. Really think about that. Just for wanting it. But the universe doesn't respond to writing. It responds to movement. Manifestation is a dance. And it takes two to tango. The moment you begin, the universe begins with you. Not before. You are the catalyst, and catalyst is the substance that speeds up the chemical reaction. Hence, like I said, the flicker, the initiator, the one who must step into the unknown first. Hence, courage to think differently about yourself. No one is coming to save you, because you were never meant to be saved. You were meant to be awakened. Exactly what I pointed out in the very beginning part of this show tonight was the fact that Darren wasn't here to save me. And he was there, he was being gracious on his own part, but it was for me to awaken what was truly happening in my life. When you get out of survival mode and get into thrive mode, your life takes a complete and utter 360 turn. And to get back to what he was saying, you know why people don't manifest what they want? Most importantly, they don't believe it. I mean, this is why affirmations are so powerful in your life. You're just reconditioning your subconscious mind to think differently. And if you do something repetitiously, hence riding a bike, you know, you can use that metaphor, you're going to get better at it. You keep saying how good you are in what you're trying to attain and constantly do that on a daily basis, which very few people do because we put ourselves in the distractions of social media and whatever, and movies and shows. And I can honestly say, that's great. And really, I'm not some prude, man. I do have a life. But I know that the only thing that's going to influence me is me. Nothing else. That they can give me a little bit of motivation, a little kick in the ass, but it all boils down to my belief system. That's something for you guys to really think about. No one's coming to save you. Nobody except you. So you can look in the mirror and smile knowing that you have complete control of it, knowing the fact that all you have to do is change the character of the play or the actor that you've been acting in every single day. And keep rehearsing that. You rehearse the end. You know, as Neville Goddard said, live in the end. That's not some imaginational, hairy-fairy, dust shit in the air kind of, no. It's real. Because imagination is creation before the creation. You put yourself in where you want to go, get a vivid picture of it, and to me, that's hard. I don't have this, but I don't visualize very well. But what I do is I feel it. So therefore, it creates a little bit of a picture, but most importantly, I feel it. Because feeling is the secret to create anything you want. If you don't feel good about yourself, you're not going to attract good to you. It's only when you start feeling good about yourself that you attract the right people, the circumstances, the events, the situations, all to match that. You're already doing it now. You just got to flip the switch. You got to become the catalyst and light your own flame, because that flame of thought and feeling creates the emotions and the chemicals in your body as the reaction from it. That's your vibration. That's your aura. And I'm going to leave you guys with one of the first books I read, a passage from that. I remember reading that in a parking lot in Keene, New Hampshire, 25 years ago, on this journey of trying to find self. Here I am, white picket fence, wife, kids, home, and yet I wasn't happy. Because a lot of you can attest to this. Because we're in this place, we don't understand where we are. We know we are from a reality sense, but internally it just doesn't feel right. And that's power, because when you recognize is when you actualize. You'll start realizing, wow, I'm not feeling right here. I'm not feeling right where I am. I need to do research. So indeed, do the research. And the research that came up to me was Man's Search for Meaning by James, not Man's Search for Meaning, As a Man Thinketh. I read so many books, man. As a Man Thinketh. James Allen, great book. And this is back in the Victorian age, the early 1900s, and this man gave to me a set of words I memorized for the longest time. I used to recite as I was driving to my appointments this phrase, and I'm going to leave it with you guys tonight. Then I'm going to grab, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl and read that too. What the hell? When you read so many books, man, and mind you, not reading per se, audibly. I mean, I used to play this shit 24/7 in my ear, so it naturally, subconsciously embedded in my skull, and that's why I don't have to worry about it anymore. Guys, I know you guys, some of you like to read per se sitting down. I ain't got time for that shit. Just put it in my ear, let it run. I'll absorb it, and therefore pass it on to you guys. But this is what he said. Listen to this. This is beautiful, because Bob Proctor introduced this to me. It's not for any kind of poetic sense. It's a power sense. It'll show you the true power that you have, and I'll leave you with this. Mind is the master power that molds and makes, and man is mind. And man is mind, and evermore he taketh the tool of thought, and shaping what he wills, brings forth 1,000 joys or 1,000 ills. He thinks in secret, and it comes to pass. Environment is but his looking glass. What James Allen was saying is that all the power resides within us, and he was speaking so esoterically with those set of words there. But people have this thing about not grasping the true power that they have. I'm here to tell you from a personal standpoint, when you understand your personal power, you'll understand that you can change literally anything in your life, from your health, your wealth, your success, your opportunities. Everything in your life all starts with you being the catalyst of those desires and sparking the flame continuously. Actually, Tori and I were talking about that before. She's trying to get something and she's thinking about it and it's happening little by little. I said, what are you doing? I'm thinking about it constantly. I'm feeling it. And that's the whole point. It's you just, as I said, nobody's coming to save you. It's you implementing your thoughts out there in the most powerful way, acting the part, being it constantly, and watch what life brings your way. Watch how naturally things start flowing to you. I received a comment, and I'll let you guys go, on one of my YouTube videos. A guy said, people don't believe this. And I was like, that's awesome. That's great. Much success with that mindset. Indeed, you guys don't have to believe it for yourself. But all I'm saying is I like to show proof of the pudding of being this guinea pig of science for the last 15 years and what it has brought me in my life, the lessons, the love, the blessings, and every bit of the abundance that I feel in my life every day is manifesting every day. So as I give you more little tidbits and breadcrumbs, don't just limit me. I mean, if you're really into transformation, immerse yourself with knowledge, and you are going to find the most beautiful outcomes from that, because everybody speaks differently, basically almost on the same topic. And I'm here to tell you, I had to listen to many, as you can tell by I mentioned before, many different authors on this, because I was so intrigued on how the mind worked. I'm here to tell you, the mind will change everything for you. Just got to learn how to use it, guys. So America's Mentor _radio on Instagram, at America's Mentor on X. Why the hell am I on X? It's all political shit. Anyway, guys, hashtag America's Mentor on YouTube. Much love for the follows, and Facebook for the follows as well, guys. Remember, you are the power. What is that quote from Oprah? Where you put your attention, and where you're putting your attention is where you put your life. Remember who you are, what you are, and where you're going, and watch how the friggin' world molds around it to create exactly what you're looking for. Much love. God bless, guys. I'll see you soon, man.